Hey there, everyone. I'm AJ.
And I'm Carlos.
Welcome to the Roaming Minds podcast, your space for unpacking all things related to mental, cognitive, and neural health.
We're here to shift through the mass of information related to mental health and wellness. Think of us as your friendly guides, here to assist you in making actionable choices in your mental wellness journey.
Now, please understand, we are not doctors, psychologists, or therapists. We are just humans who are curious and have a passion for all things related to mental health, sharing what we've learned for informative purposes only.
Exactly. This isn't medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're dealing with something serious, please hit up your doctor or mental health professional. Don't take our word for it.
Never skip out on expert help or put it off because of something we discussed here. If you need support right now, check the links in the description.
So buckle up, friends. Let's dive into today's convo and explore what's on our mind.
We were talking about hope and how that relates to purpose, and the idea came up of beliefs. And that is, we could run multiple episodes just on beliefs and do like insane deep dives. And that's not necessarily what we're going to do. We're going to try and give everybody like a pretty high level overview to be able to kind of make those shifts that they need. And so I guess the first thing I want to do is just talk about that idea of mindsets. Or if you prefer, I've also heard I've heard people use attitude interchangeably with mindset. Because, having a preteen, I talk to him a lot about attitude because whew, man, he has got some attitude. But really the mindset let me rephrase that. Nope, I don't want to rephrase that. This is what I'm saying, Carlos. I can't stop pinging. Oh my God. All right.
You got this.
Refresh. Mindset. The lens that we see the world through.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard attitude defined as our angle of approach. And so I think that they're very closely related. Mindset, I think, is more cerebral and is more thought-based. And then attitude is really what is my behavior like and how am I approaching this situation? And I definitely think that those two are very closely connected, or correlated.
Absolutely. Like your mindset informs the attitude. If you have a crappy, we'll get into specific example. I'm not going to say anything, but if somebody has a crappy mindset, typically they have, poor attitude or shows what we could consider poor attitude or poor judgment in terms of how they behave and act toward others.
Mm-hmm. And when I was doing notes for this, the idea of fixed versus growth mindset came up by Carol Dweck, I believe, is a researcher that coined those terms, or did a lot of research on fixed versus growth, whatever.
So, yeah.
Fixed mindset really being that we've all met that person that has a fixed mindset that just no matter what you talk to them and they're always right. You could tell them that the sky is orange, or they could tell you that the sky is orange, and you can be looking at it being like, "Now that motherfucker's blue," and they'll still sit there and try and tell you they're right.
Very good. I thought you said that what's it called is always right. No, they think they're always right.
Yeah, they're definitely not, but typically, I mean, they're super easy to spot if people have a very fixed mindset. If you think, even, I don't want people to think, oh, that's the only way to have a fixed mindset. No, that's not necessarily the case. Clinging to routines that no longer serve us because they're comfortable can be a way of fixed thought. There are a lot of different manifestations of fixed thought processes, but it's really just that unwavering stubbornness to not change mindsets and to be like, no, this is the way I've thought, this is how I'm going to think, and this is how it's going to be. I know I don't want to tell that story, to be honest with you. Not on the air, at least. It hits too close to home. Not for me, but it's not, whatever. I'm happy to tell you about these people, but just not without their consent and permission.
Well, who cares about ethics? You can't.
I know, it's some bullshit.
A little lawsuit never hurt anybody. A little defamation.
Yeah. Okay, Carlos. Tell that to my bank account.
No, you can sue me. I am in that. I own nothing. I have absolutely nothing. So you want to come after me? Woohoo.
Right. You can only take what I have, right? Um, and then it comes, the growth mindset is really just exhibiting an open mind, right?
Hmm.
I mean that I understand that's like a very big gross oversimplification, but I don't want to keep like trying to go down rabbit holes with these things. I just want to give that high level and kind of keep moving on and drag that conversation forward a little bit, because I don't think that fixed and growth mindsets are the same. Okay. No, that's not what they're obviously not the same. That they are the only two mindsets that
Right.
you can have.
And I also want to say they're not mutually like exclusive. You can have a fixed mindset on a specific thing and then a growth
Mm-hmm.
mindset on other things. So, like you can exhibit both within
Mm-hmm.
yourself, like
Right.
on different topics in different areas. So it's they're like it's not like one person is entirely fixed, like in all their rigidity and idea they have, or one person's just like, I'm willing to learn and grow from like everything. There like you can have both, and there is also a scale and a balance that where you can like exist in the middle of that as well.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely. It's not like, okay, I have a fixed mindset about one thing, so that means that I have a fixed mindset about everything. You are very correct that it definitely applies. Um, and then I do want to kind of just define what I mean when I say belief. But when I'm talking about the beliefs, I'm talking about the repeated thoughts, the thoughts that we have consistently when something good happens, when something that we don't like happens, when difficulties arise. We have, I'm going to put it out there and I'd probably catch a lot of flack for it, but pre-programmed thoughts that have come from our experiences
Mm.
that will shape our behavior and our emotional health. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about beliefs. I'm not talking about like, do you believe in God? I'm not talking about do you believe in whether or not 9/11 happened. I'm not talking about any of those beliefs. I don't give a shit. That's not here. What I'm talking about is the beliefs that shape our way of being. The same ones that get addressed in things like cognitive behavioral therapy. There we go. See, I'm getting back. I can speak good today. CBT, I think, is really a good method of therapy. I like it much more than psychotherapy. I've been a big advocate when people come and talk to me about any mental health sort of issues. I'm like, you should probably look into CBT, because again, psychotherapy is it's okay, but it's a little bit more dated. And so, yes, I can learn about myself. And then CBT is really how those beliefs that we have influence emotions and actions, and how do we go about shifting them. I know I worked with a CBT with somebody I know, and they had a 3-month limit on practice because the goal CBT has goals. So when you come in, what is it that you want to work on? Where do we want to get to? And using those techniques that they've developed, they were able to get pretty a pretty good amount of work done in the 3 months, and came out better on the other side. I mean, I spent years in therapy and didn't get anything like that. Psychotherapy, and this was a long time, right? I mean, I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just saying you can do that. And so having those goals-based practices that help us to reframe our beliefs and that help change our mindset is really, really important. When I was doing notes, I did come across this diagram, and it just has our beliefs and then an arrow. Our choices our beliefs lead to our choices lead to our experiences, and our experiences reinforce our beliefs. So
Hmm.
I would rather get rid of that reinforce our beliefs and just send the experiences back straight to our belief. Much like what we were talking about last week with those cycles
Hmm.
and the cycles of habit. Those beliefs shape our cycles of habit up until those beliefs are no longer serving us and we have to change them. And then we can go find something like CBT, or we can use some of the tools of CBT to break that pattern, right? Go down a different road and then enter new patterns, with
Absolutely.
new beliefs, with new mindsets. Kind of like what you were talking about with you can have part of a fixed mindset or you can have part of a growth mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's the same idea, right? Well, not same idea. It's the same. No, it's not the same. It's directly correlated to that because, hey, this fixed mindset pattern that I'm currently working with here is no longer serving me. Break. Let me go here. I've now just developed more of a growth mindset to be able to handle challenges, handle whatever. And that is super duper awesome. The one that is not here that I think is the most valuable, and this is just for me personally, is limitless mindset.
Hmm.
Growth mindset kind of says, well, we know, let's start here. We know fixed isn't great because fixed means I really don't have any way of shifting my beliefs. I can't, things like I can't, I won't, that's too hard, that's impossible. All of those things really kind of come with that more fixed mindset. And
Yeah.
that none of that is going to save you. None of that is going to help you, especially not if you're trying to make changes in your mental well-being. That being said, growth mindset is really more of that like, well, it might be difficult, but I can probably do it. Or I'm struggling today. It's going to be a challenging day, but I'll be okay once I get through X, Y, and Z that I have to do. Those are examples of exhibiting that growth mindset. It's not an example of a growth mindset. Those are, I want to make sure that that's clear, but that kind of exhibits it more so. Limitless mindset is I have the power and the control to be able to do absolutely anything. And I think that we promote it in America, but we highly misunderstand it.
Hmm.
Maybe not misunderstand. Misunderstand isn't the right way. I think we glorify it and we don't talk about the flip side of what comes with a limitless mindset. I think a limitless mindset is one of the best things to have. I can do absolutely anything. Let me put it to you this way. If I can go from where I was in high school to where I am today, anything is possible for anybody. Because there is absolutely nothing special about me. I am not like it's not like and I don't
Yo,
mean
he's
that in a
lying.
bad way.
He's lying. Stop it. Stop saying that.
All I'm telling you is it's not like I have some secret key that I was born with that you don't have.
Fair.
You see what I'm saying? That's more where I was going with that. We all have those keys. We all have the ability to change, rewire our brains to be able to make different choices. It is a matter of what we are willing to give up in order to get there. I have had situations in my life where there were things that I wanted more than anything, and I was willing to do absolutely anything in order to be able to get them. I got them. They were not good for me. They were very, very bad for me, but I got what I wanted. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, yes, limitless beliefs are really, really great in that sense, in that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to. If I'm let's say I always come back to the exercise examples just because I think they're really easy. If I have a really, really fast metabolism and I struggle to build muscle, but I want to be a bodybuilder that, is in the upwards of like 240 pounds of just straight muscle at like 5'11", that is not going to be an easy path because I currently weigh 150 pounds or 160, whatever, and I have to pack on almost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I have to do that. I have to fight my body in order to do that because my body has this metabolism that's just choking stuff down. So I'm going to probably be using some suspect methods to be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And really suspect methods, just talking about like more unnatural ways of doing things like that
Hmm.
have very severe repercussions for our biology. It may not kill us in the short term, but it's going to get me to where I want to be. And so I'm not going to say I don't think it's taking a shortcut. I don't think that's what that is. I just think that that's something that I would have to do in order to get there. Again, I can get what I want, but it is at what cost? So, and here's what I'm going to tell you. You're going to love it, but I am going to use the One Piece example at this point. It is directly applicable to how to approach the world. Luffy's mindset is 100% limitless. I am going to become the king of the pirates. He started off on a dinghy, like a one-man boat, and couldn't swim, and somehow is becoming one of the most powerful pirates. And not only is he a powerful pirate, but he is a powerful pirate that does not behave like a pirate. All he's looking for is freedom. He's not looking for treasure. He's not looking to be the best fighter. He just wants to be able to do whatever he wants to do. Now, that comes at a very, very hefty price. He gets his ass kicked all over the place. I mean, you're talking about coming close to death numerous times, doing things that most people would find absolutely unthinkable. This is where I find so much value in One Piece, because that mindset that he carries with him is a beautiful example of how to be limitless. It's not sitting there weighing out options. It's not sitting there saying, well, I could do left, but if I go right, this might happen. There's no internal dialogue with Luffy ever. There's, I want it, I see it, I take action towards it. That's huge, because it's not letting our beliefs influence our behavior. I don't know that I don't think that's a great idea.
What is?
If you look at people who are really very, very successful, right? They tend to be action takers. They
Yeah.
tend to be people that don't sit there and say, don't try to over intellectualize it. And so there's a lot of power in clearing one's mind and just taking the action. Knowing, I mean, and this kind of comes and ties in with that idea of purpose. Knowing what it is that you want and how to kind of get there. And you don't even have to really know how to get there. You just have to know what you want in order to be able to begin taking action towards it. And so once I know what it is that I am going to do, I know what my purpose is. I have some hope, even if it's just a sliver, that I can reach it. Now let me go ahead and start taking action towards it. What is required for that? Number one, you have to have a growth mindset. It's impossible to do it without it. You have to believe, at least on some level, that you are capable of achieving it. Hope. I have some level of hope that I'm capable of doing this. And then what happens over time, inevitably, is we build a little bit more confidence. We build a little bit more, hey, I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. That's pretty cool. Or I'm not as useless as I thought I was. Or I'm not, insert negative belief A here and insert positive reaffirmation here, or reframing here.
Yeah.
That's a really, really big deal. And it's not something that happens overnight. I want to make sure that that is very, very clear. It's not something that I developed in a year. It's not something that I developed in 2 years. It took time, at least to expand it to the point to where I want to be. Dude, I have found myself in situations over the past few years that are so surreal for me. It's not even funny. Just because never in a million years when I was growing up did I think, oh yeah, this is what my life is going to look like at that. And that is a direct result of getting away from fixed mindsets. I'm way too stupid to do that. I can't do that because it's just not for me. That's not I'm telling you, man, I've had them all, dude. And I was definitely that asshole who thought he was right all the time. Now I just don't care. Now, dude, I thought I was fucking brilliant back in the day. I thought I was brilliant, but not smart enough to do anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's an ugly place to be.
That is a very, not a healthy place to be.
No, it was horrible. And so getting away from that as much as possible was helpful, and dude, I'm telling you, it really wasn't until I found that first purpose. And I say found, but maybe created is more of a better term for it. The second that I created that first purpose, that was when the fixed mindset began to shift. I do everything I can these days not to argue with people who think they're right. You know what I mean? Even if I know you're wrong, okay, man, whatever, dude. That's a massive, again, just light year difference between I'm right and you're
And
an
you're
idiot to that's what you think? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna step away because I just don't want to talk to you anymore. But before, we'd have been arguing for hours. For hours. Like, nah, motherfucker. You're tripping.
I'm like, please, like, do you,
Hmm.
whatever. Have fun over there in your
Right.
little corner. I'm going to be here knowing that you are fully wrong in your belief, attitude, or whatever the topic is, and I'm just going to march on over here and go live my life because I'm not going to let you stress me out. Because please, trying to argue with people that think that they're right to the
Hmm.
contrary is
Hmm.
exhausting.
Yeah. I agree with you. And so we've looked at what it is. We looked at what fixed growth, and we've talked about limitless and why those are all applicable.
Yes.
But what are some of the tools that help us get there? And I do want to come up with some of the tools because I do think that they're very, very helpful. One of the biggest ones, and that's super easy to implement, is reframing. Right? From I can't do this, or this is too hard, or whatever, to, oh, well, I'm still learning, but I'll be able to do that in a little bit. I mean, really anything that makes it so that it's like a doorway.
Hmm.
The second I say I can't, the door shuts. I can't go through that door anymore because I've already told myself it's done, it's over with. The second I tell myself it's too hard, the second I tell myself anything, it's done. I can't go through that door anymore. Even if that door is just cracked a little bit, I can still go through it. So whatever you can replace I can't or it's too hard with, that keeps that door even the slightest bit open, at least begins to exhibit that growth mindset.
Yeah.
That's a
I,
really,
I,
really,
I think another one you can say is I can't do it, but you don't find a reason why. And if you need to, you what I want to say, maybe you really can't do it, but what can you do with that goal? Let's say you are trying to do something. I don't know, trying to become an astronaut, and you're like, you know what? Based on where I am, I generally cannot become an astronaut. But how can you use the skills and reframe it to at least still be, in the field of work at NASA or something like that? So you can, again, going back to the reframing, it's about reframing the idea. If you can't do it, why can't you do it? And what can you do that can still lead to somewhere that you are happy with?
yes. I do. I think that's a really good distinction because I don't know, man. I mean, if I'm 80 years old and I'm like, I'm going to go play soccer professionally. No, you're not. That's just about goal setting. And there's multiple frameworks for goal setting. I'm going to make a note and link a goal setting framework in the description for people so that one of the big things that they tell you is it's got to be achievable. It's silly to have a goal that's not achievable or that you could realistically achieve. That being said, coming back, the next thing is affirmations. I mean, I don't love the affirmations just because I don't love the word. I say be kind to yourself. You're not that bad. I promise. I guarantee you, even if you think you're the worst, there's
Some of
definitely,
you are.
you're not wrong. No, I'm just kidding. Even if you are, I don't know. I mean, I was a shitty human. So even if I was a shitty human, I'm guaranteeing you there were people that were worse than I was considerably. And
Hmm.
so, and growing up, I always told my son this, be nice to yourself because at the end of the day, you're all you have. When your head hits the pillow, you are the only person that you have there. Be very, very nice. Don't be mean to yourself. And that's where those affirmations kind of come into play. Find whichever ones work for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I will tell you, sitting there and being like, I love myself is not going to work for me because it's just not my shtick. It's not my spiel. And that's okay.
yeah.
Again, going back all the way to episode 2, it's just about personalization. Make them your own, but find how that kind of works out for you. The next one I really, really love because it's gratitude and strength-based journaling. I don't love the term strength-based journaling because I think any journaling is good, realistically.
Yeah.
Uh, ideally, if you are journaling, some of your prompts include what am I doing well right now? What am I doing? What could improve? You're looking at both sides of the coin. To me, journaling is just journaling, but it is what it is. Gratitude's super huge. And the more that you fake believe it, because there will be a point in time when you just are like, well, I'm grateful for this. And I'm not saying I'm not saying I wasn't ever grateful for those things, but I sure as shit didn't fucking feel grateful about it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was just like, cool. Dude, I'm super grateful that the weather's nice and beautiful right now. It's fucking perfect. The wind is blowing. It's like, yes. And when I step outside and I sit down or I'm working in the garden or I'm just drinking coffee in the backyard, that wave of gratitude hits because it's so gorgeous out. And there is in that moment, there's nothing better that could be happening. That's a big deal. That, again, it took time.
Yeah.
It's not like I started saying, oh, I'm grateful for, uh, I don't want to say relaxing weather, but like I'm grateful when it's not too hot out. I'm grateful when the wind blows. I'm grateful when it's not too sunny. And then and then walking outside in that exact situation and being like,
Yeah.
this is cool, but I don't feel it yet. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes
No, it may,
okay,
well, it
good.
makes sense to me, but
That's cool.
I get you. So
It sounded confusing to me, so that's the only reason why.
I have the ability to follow confusion. It is a very weird ability that I have to decipher through what people mean and get there. I know.
Wonderful. That's perfect.
But if anybody else is confused, also understandable.
Sorry, this next one is my favorite. Exposure to new perspectives. Books, mentors, therapy.
Challenge yourself.
Now, which one? Carlos, we're gonna play a little quiz game, okay? Which one do you think is the most important as deemed by me, the most important person here? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about that as deemed by me part, but I'm joking about the most important person.
So we have books,
Yep.
therapy.
Yep.
What's the
And
other two?
there's just one more. It was mentors.
Mentors. Books.
Yes. Yes. Books are I don't want to say most effective. I don't want to say anything of the sort. Books are the easiest way to alter mindsets and gain new perspectives. Why? Because I can go to the fucking library. I can check out any goddamn book for free and start changing my perspective, because that's the most fascinating thing about reading books. And I'm not saying it doesn't have to be self-help. It
Yeah.
can be, I would prefer nonfiction in this. And really, when I talk about those new perspectives, I am referring to nonfiction because that's where I got my perspective shifts from. I started reading books from PhD researchers.
Mm-hmm.
I started reading books on topics that I found interesting, whatever the case may be. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them. I mean, my microphone's literally popped up by them. Actually, my closets are mostly like the shelves in there just filled with all the books that I amassed while I was going through that time period to make that shift. I told my son from a very early age, I said, there is always money for books. Because if I can't get you to the library to take you there, I'm happy to get that.
Yeah.
I make sure he reads every single day. When I talk to kids and they're like, I don't read, I'm like, oh my goodness, please start.
No, absolutely. I think books are the best place to start. And I think the reason is, at least with the three examples that you gave,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why is you can easily dismiss a person. Because as you're talking to me and I don't want to hear it, I can literally tune you out and be
Mm-hmm.
like, boom, bye. Same thing with the therapist. If you're not fully invested, you can just go, well, whatever, leave there and nothing has changed.
Hmm.
With the book, it forces you to continue reading, and the only thing there is you and the book. Essentially, it's just really you there. You have to be the one doing the work. There's no other external force doing it. So when it's you and you alone, and you are confronted with your own beliefs, you have to do the work. And the nice thing about, again, challenging your beliefs is it can either reinforces it, which would be like, you know what, I was right all along. These other motherfuckers were wrong. Or you go, ah, I was wrong. Now here's how I'm gonna go about changing my point of view.
Right. I I don't know if you ever listened to Wayne Dyer. Okay. I There was some weird stuff that he got into, like when
Yeah.
he was talking about the weird juice cleanses, and they went to a little bit more of an
Yes.
extreme than I'm willing to take out. I'm not telling you I took everything that he said, but one of the biggest things I think that I ever got from listening to him, and this was one of the most profound shifts. This was when my shift really began. I remember I was walking down walking through my neighborhood listening to it, and what he was talking about was how much our beliefs shaped, not our beliefs, sorry, not just beliefs, how much the things that we have told ourselves. So, yes, beliefs, but I'm taking it down to, I guess, a little bit more of a meta aspect. The actual words that we tell ourselves, how much those words shaped where we were today. And he was like, I bet you that if you go and you look back and you think about all the things that you used to tell yourself, the things that you wanted to do, all of it, you would look back, see that, and then look at where you are today and say, wow, everything that I told myself came to fruition. And like, for me, it did 100%. And I was like, wow, that's fascinating. And then the other big thing that I took away from him was don't die with your pre-programmed tapes. We get pre-programmed tapes when we're kids. We get them from parents, we get them from teachers, we get them from everybody. And the quickest way to alter those tapes is to get fresh perspectives by reading, by having mentors, by going to therapy. Again, my favorite is books, because I personally, I don't, it's not about rushing through the book. It's about really comprehending where they're coming from and how they kind of got there. And so I very carefully read every single word that they're talking about, and I repeat it back. So what that's doing is it's altering those tapes in real time. It is such a big deal to be able to alter those tapes and those perspectives.
Mhm.
And I truthfully believe that even if you have mentors, even if you have therapy, I genuinely believe that books are one of the best ways to do this. And without books, it will be infinitely more difficult.
Yeah.
I could totally be wrong about that, but in my experience, that was the most helpful. And like I said, I wasn't reading self-help books. I was reading books on physics. I was reading books on neuroscience. I was reading books on psychology, neuroscience. Those are my big topics, tech, all those kinds of things. And I mean, just consuming them at rapid speeds. I'm not saying you have to go at rapid speeds. That's not that. It depends on how fast you want to grow. You know what I mean?
And also how much time you have.
Yeah, of course. Well, I had no time. Let's be very clear. I was single parent. I was going to school. I was working 2 jobs, and I still was reading 2.5 hours a day. I don't know how the fuck. I zero idea how I was managing it. I was working out every day. It was insane,
Life
crazy.
life be
Yeah.
like that sometimes. Sometimes you look back at like, how did I do certain things? Or how did I find the time to just do things? You're like, nah, you're like, it's inconceivable that you have that much time in the day now.
I think, and this is just what I've come to find, right? Willingness goes a long way. And this kind of comes with that growth mindset, and it kind of helps with adopting that growth mindset. If I'm willing, I have a chance. If I'm not willing, I have absolutely no chance. So even if life is totally crazy, if I'm not willing to work that hard to get to where I want to be, it's not going to happen, which then in turn fuels that limitless mindset, because you're like, ooh, yeah, I can do just about anything. I can show up to school on Thanksgiving and make a CNC relief cut and do all of the, you know what I mean? Like whatever
Mhm.
stupid thing I was doing at the time.
No, I firmly agree. I'm of the belief we're born alone, we die alone. And some of us are lucky, you get twins or triplets, whatever. But that is such a small percentage, but have to be willing to do the work. Like nobody else can do it for you. Not your mom, not your dad, husband, wife, friends, children. Nobody can do the work for you. Like it has to come from you. Like it's the adage, like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. Like people can bring you as far as they possibly can. But if you are not willing, like not even willing, just like wanting, like nothing can be done.
Yes. And just just a quick example. We did talk a little bit about time in AA over the past couple of weeks.
Hmm.
When I was working with other people, that kids mostly, that came in, the first question I asked them, first question, are you done yet? And you would have been amazed at how many kids are like, well, I mean, maybe. Literally, I almost 2, 3 weeks, and then I really probably never saw them again. If they could literally look me dead in the eyes and be like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm done. Despite how hard it was for them, they had a tendency to stick around. And it was really just because they were willing to adopt that growth mindset. Because
Hmm.
especially when you're dealing with addiction issues and things like that, reframing those thoughts that get you to where, that keep you in that cycle, is imperative if you want to get out. It's impossible to do it without it. That is not a comment on addiction. I don't want to get into any comment about addiction. I don't. No. All I'm saying is that in order to heal and recover from that type of interaction, it requires you to be willing to reframe almost your entire life. And I'm not telling you that people haven't done it without. The ones that I saw that were most successful, and keep in mind, I mean, I spent about a decade going to meetings. Yeah, roughly. And just observing and watching all of it. The most successful ones ended up being able to reframe. And when I say successful, finding peace and lasting happiness, and wasn't just like, well, I'm angry because I'm not on drugs anymore. That willingness to grow was always apparent. The last tool that I want to, and I don't know if it's as much of a tool as much as it is a reminder, you don't have to make all of these shifts at once. Start small. Start with, I am going to do this, and then take action to go ahead and do it. Make it a little bit lofty. Make it a little bit difficult to be able to go out and achieve. For me, mine was going back to school. I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to pursue school. I'm going to go back to school and do whatever. And I applied, and I did not think I was going to get in by any stretch of the imagination. And I got that acceptance letter, and I was wowed, right? Same with, I mean, I'm telling you, with grad school, at no point did I think I was getting into their Maryland's HCI program. I was like, there's no way. I'm not tech oriented. I'm not design oriented. I'm not this oriented. But it was suggested to me by a professor of mine, and I was like, all right, cool, let's go for it. Those occurrences help to foster that belief, and that, oh man, I can do some things.
Yeah.
Again, I know that's more on a larger level, but I mean, so I'll use I say addiction example, but it's not really addiction example. I'm just gonna, whatever. I'm I've been using a bunch of drugs. I've been whatever. If I can just get through today, I'll be okay. That
Hmm.
is a micro shift. It's not, I mean, yes, it's monumental in what you've just achieved, but when it comes to the trajectory of your life, you've got a long way to go still. So that is something that is a little bit on a smaller scale that has massive implications that is going to help build up that growth mindset. And you can even go smaller than that. Maybe you've had an issue with your neighbor. I don't fucking know. They come out of their house and they're like, "Oh, fuck you, asshole." And you get pissed and you're like, "Well, fuck you too." I'm going to walk out of the house today and I'm not going to say fuck you back. I'm just going to walk straight to my car. That's a small shift, I
Mhm.
think. That's as small as I can think. I know that's a weird example that I don't think anybody's ever gone through, but like, if you have,
Like, you
that's
never know.
interesting.
Right, you never know in this world. The people are vastly creative in what they get into.
Yes. The other thing that and I just want to mention this, and I think this is the last thing that I really want to talk about before we wrap up, is avoid that toxic positivity. And I think we all know what we mean because, and maybe you don't. I don't know. I know I can see the person before me clear as day. I'm like, I know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck that person. Because everything about them is, oh, life is great. It's so wonderful. It's so great. It's so wonderful. And I'm like, I know some of the details of your life. I know it ain't wonderful, bitch. Nah. Yes, positivity is important, but understanding understanding that it's okay to be going through something difficult
Yeah.
is very, very important as well. And so
No,
just being realistic.
I think we may have mentioned on one of the episodes, I'm forgetting which is one. Sadness and like like feeling bad is a valid emotion. You are allowed to experience sadness. Being happy and content all the time is not a way to go to life.
Well, it's just not possible.
And also that, and having bad feeling and being able, you don't have to share it to everybody, and being at least willing to tell yourself, I am having these things, but it's okay. I'm gonna work through them
Right.
is the way to go about it.
Well, I mean, and even at that, well, part of it is know your audience. Obviously, I'm not going to walk up to a stranger and be like, "Yeah, my life's a walking, talking shit show," I'm and launch into like this long tire about why. No, that's not going to happen. But I am going to be like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to I don't know. Again, it's a stranger, so it really doesn't matter. Yeah, life, everything's good. Chances are I'm probably not even talking about it. So you definitely shouldn't be bringing it up. But if it's your best friend and you're like, yeah, everything's wonderful. You're like, bitch, I know for a fact your car just got repoed. You're about to lose your house and your husband kicked you in the shins and left you. I don't know. Why not?
I don't know if this is a person you know personally. I am sorry to that person. Whichever one of your friends is going through this, I am sorry. So sorry for you. You seem to be having a bad life.
And yeah, no, yeah. But again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you launch into tirades about it, but you don't have to be like, yeah, everything's great.
Yeah.
Even though I know, I mean, it's acceptable to be like, my favorite saying, especially with people that I know, is they're like, how we doing? And I'm like, it's Tuesday. You know, it's not, I'm not telling you everything's great. I'm not telling you everything's wonderful. Uh, It just is what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
My gosh,
that's
it's going. Like it is
right.
going.
Life is still trucking along. But I mean, really, and not trying to fool people because people know. We
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that. What's the common phrase of this generation right now? We hear it all the time. It's a V word. And
Vibe.
no, I'm not talking. Yes, that has become a common slang term. So clearly, people are picking up on what a lot more than just what you say. And so that's just always something to keep in mind.
Absolutely. And to just, gonna get everybody back along as we are ending this episode. We've discussed three main mindset. We have growth, fixed, and limitless mindset. And we discussed how they're all now one, that are going to just have one thing in each of them. And we've discussed how, you know, fixed mindset isn't a great thing. You always are wanting to, willing to grow. Growth is a good thing. You want to advance. You don't want to, I've never met anybody who want to stay at the same place. That's, unless you're out there, good for you. I'm happy for you. You're having a, apparently you are in a good place where you are at with that. But most of us, the rest of us, we want to grow, and we want to, and also we discuss how limitless the good and the bad of having a limitless mindset. Words. And we've talked about the tools that you can use to kind of help yourself get in that mindset. Words of affirmation. You don't need to be like, I love myself, like, you know, but you telling yourself, you know, yourself what works for you, being easy on yourself, giving yourself the space to grow, to make mistakes, to learn from your experiences, challenging yourself. You want to challenge yourself, as we said. You, if you really want to know what you really believe in, if you challenge yourself, you'll either reinforce the things that you already believe in, or you'll be willing to change and grow.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for hanging out with us on Roaming Minds.
Carlos here with a friendly reminder, your mind's worth it.
If you enjoyed our conversation and want to learn more, hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple, whatever works for you. Maybe even drop us a review if you're feeling extra kind. If you're the social media type, come find us on Instagram at roaming_minds_pod. We've got updates, behind the scenes bonuses, all that good stuff.
Catch us next week for another ADHD filled adventure, chasing life, liberty, and whatever shiny idea grabs us next.